And we're back live on the Therapist Gym radio show. It's really talking about a question people ask me all the time in my field because they come to me with a lot of negative emotions. And one of my patients asked me, what is the root of hate? How did people become hateful when they're formerly loving, caring people who are going about their day and not focusing on what they hate, what they don't like about life or people or situations? One example is in the history of the world. After World War II, there was a Versailles Treaty that the Germans had to abide by, and that made their land a lot smaller. They had been the aggressor, and the world kind of punished them with the Treaty of Versailles. About 20 years later, or a little less actually, in the late or mid-20s, Adolf Hitler used the historical event of the Versailles Treaty being passed by the world, putting Germany in a very humiliating situation. This, as a group of people called the Germans, was taken advantage of by Adolf Hitler when he said, we must avenge the Versailles Treaty. And they used the idea of one people, the Jews, as the main target to avenge the Versailles Treaty, blaming the Jews for everything, virtually everything. So before the Holocaust, you saw Jews on videos, or actually there were movies, being beaten in the streets, given a star where they had to wear, so that soldiers or just citizens could beat them up just to take their anger out on something all of them had nothing to do with the Versailles Treaty, but to get power. Hitler knew that hatred would be the only way to go. And causing hatred and causing people to be negative about one particular thing would rile them up and use Adolf Hitler, in this case, to fix the situation. And his fix was called the final solution. So if you are in a trance of hatred, remember who or what put you there. Was it an event? Was it being a victim of a very, very cruel childhood, and you projected that cruelty as hatred for the rest of your life? What was it that made you such a hardened person that hatred was your primary emotion? If you ask yourself that question often, not often, but sometimes, without therapy, you could resolve that and say, hate is a killer, and I don't want to be hateful, I want to be loving. Just think about what made you a hateful person, because, like I said, with the Germans, it was the Versailles Treaty, because they had been the aggressors. The world knew that, but the world was going to teach them a lesson, and Hitler used that to make a whole people, one group, the German people, one group of ignorant and hateful people that just sat by and let millions and millions and millions of Jews, gypsies, blacks, homosexuals, and many people who did not fit the fantasy idea of the Aryan race being some superior race. What is superior? No one's better than anyone else. So that's one example of the roots of hatred. Be aware, be conscious, and you will not be a slave to this very, very negative emotion. I'm Therapist Jim, and have a great day or evening, whatever time it is in your area.